Hello everyone, it's Kendo here. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're not new around here, what is up, home skillet biscuit? Happy Saturday! If you don't know what Saturday is usually when I do something called Bad Movies in a Beat, the series on my channel where I talk about bad movies while putting my makeup on. But this week we're talking about a good movie because I watched a good movie on accident. People kept bringing it up as if it was a bad movie, but it's actually amazing and I want to talk about it to learn. Today's gonna be good movies and a glam. Last week something was going on with my audio, so I'm using a different mic today. Apologies in advance if it doesn't sound as good. Maybe it'll sound better. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video. Of course, that is after today's sponsor. Sorry, okay. Listen to ad roll, Kenny. Okay, bye. It is summertime. Get your legs out. Let them glisten, let them gleam. Hello everyone, it's Admiral Kennie to let you know that today's video is sponsored by our friends over at Harry's. I love to use a men's razor because pink tax has got me bent. Harry's provides premium razors that are manufactured in Germany with 5 blades and beautiful colors. Allows you to be stylish while you get a close, comfortable, and effective shave each and every time. Last time I did an ad read for them, I gave the whole spiel about why I hate the concept of gendered razors. What? And so I've been a men's razors girly. It's cheaper. They tend to get closer because I guess they assume like men who shave their face every day need their razors to work better. So women got to get the crappy ones that are more expensive. What? Don't let the pink tax make you have to shave your legs every day, okay? I haven't shaved my legs in a week and a half. No hair yet. We're just starting to get prickles. And I could probably go another week and a half without it being like, okay, you're getting a little Wonder Wolf there. They also have their starter kit, which includes a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, a blade cover, and their foaming shave gel with skin-loving ingredients like aloe and hyaluronic acid. They have a money-back guarantee, so you can try it, no risk. And if you would like to redeem your starter kit for just $3, feel free to check it out using my link down below. Big thanks again to Harry's for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get on to the debauchery, baby. So last week we talked about the just chaotic, that's the word choice I can use, experience of watching John Travolta in The Fanatic, a movie in which he plays a crazed fan who goes a bit too far in trying to get his favorite actor's autograph. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I hated the movie. If you would like to watch me break a blood vessel, feel free to watch that up above, or you can watch it in the Bad Movies in a Beat playlist. As a swift 180, we're gonna move over to this movie because I've been holding off on this movie, no particular reason. I just get recommended a lot of movies. There's certain movies that I just forget about, honestly, and then I get recommended to watch it 80 million times, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta watch it. A movie that people kind of recommend in regards to like camp movies, because y'all know I like something a little campy. I'm a fan. Side note, did y'all know that people just now discovering house music apparently? This is so off topic, but one of my favorite house songs that people don't bring up enough in the conversation of house to me is Janet Jackson's Throb. I don't know how I got on this topic. Well, gayness. It's still Pride Month and I wanted to do a good Pride movie because a few weeks ago we did GBF and people ended up bringing up today's movie, But I'm a Cheerleader, 1999, which is a movie that people have brought up a lot. Classic sapphic movie. And again, a lot of people were bringing it up when I brought up GBF because I didn't put the connection together that the teacher in GBF, the one that makes the Anderson Cooper joke, is the lead in this movie. But I finally got around to it. And I gotta say, I really, really like this movie. People always brought it up and I didn't know if they meant in like a good movie way or a bad movie way. So I was really confused when the movie was like good. I thought I was going into a bad movie. I was like, wait, this is amazing. I love this. I didn't really know what to expect going into this movie. I expected it to be a lot more about cheerleading than it is. It's a really funny and well thought out satire movie. There's a dark comedy aspect of it in a way that's a lot more skillful than GBF, which came out, 14 years later. GBF has this vibe of like teaching straight people about gayness reads very like making a gay movie for straight people, but this movie isn't trying to explain the homosexual to a straight audience. I think that's what leads into this movie aging quite well. It's not perfect, again, it's from 99, but it's aged really well. I think that's a testament to like how sincere the movie really is. I think another great thing about this movie is that it's a sympathetic story, covers a topic that's quite heavy, but in a way that isn't like gay tragedy, you know, there's a happy ending. I definitely see why this movie is a classic for a lot of people. With that said, it does handle some very heavy topics, albeit in a way that is in a satirical way that makes it a bit lighter to consume, but I feel like it's only appropriate to verbally vocalize that we will be referring to very triggering topics such as homophobia, particularly in conversations around conversion camps, praying the gay away, yada yada. Even though these topics are handled in a very absurdist, campy way, a dark comedy way, it is still a topic that may trigger some people, so leave that to your own discretion, whether or not you think you can handle it. But I'm a Cheerleader is a 1999 satirical sapphic comedy about a girl named Megan who gets sent to a conversion camp by her parents who want to fix her from her lesbianism. However, while at the camp, she ends up meeting the other, I want to say inmates, because that's how they kind of treat it, like it's a prison. And she ends up falling in love with one of them, which was my first thought. That sounds like a really just logistically bad idea. Yeah, the way to get a bunch of kids to stop being gay is to put them in a room with a bunch of other gay kids who are all feeling rejected and in search of love. Yeah, great idea and effective thought process. But the movie is, again, told through a very satirical absurdism throughout. In set design, in costume design, in casting, there's a kind of like surrealist way about it. I think the best decision they made in the course of casting, though, has to be getting RuPaul to play a conversion coach who also teaches the boys at the camp traditional masculinity, which hilarious. But yeah, I really like this movie. If you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend it. If you haven't heard of it, I'm really excited to talk about it. But with that said, of course, I'm going to be having some spoilers. Without further ado, this is But I'm a Cheerleader, 1999. So the movie begins and we meet our main character, Megan, who is, shocker, a cheerleader. But more so than her being a cheerleader, she's very much so indicative of very 90s femininity. She's white, she's blonde, which was such a funny thing to me as a child. I remember thinking I remember distinctly there being like a blondes versus brunette battle amongst white women in the late 90s, early 2000s. It probably preceded that, I'm sure. But I remember thinking as a child, I'm like, you can dye your hair. If you think you'd be treated better blonde, you can just be blonde. That's an option. So why are y'all arguing? This is so stupid. She's thin. She's a cheerleader. She's dating a football player. I think he's probably the quarterback. That's usually the thing. She comes from a very Christian family. She's conventionally pretty. She fits categorically into anything that would be descriptive of or indicative of ideal white femininity, especially in the late 90s. However, there is one particular mold that she doesn't quite fit into. She doesn't like kissing her boyfriend. That's no big deal. You know, high school boys aren't good at a lot of things. Okay. That might be worse than usual. That's disgusting. In order to get through the process of kissing her boyfriend, she imagines the other girls in her cheerleading squad's bodies. She thinks of their butts and boobs, fantasizing about the female form in a way that one could assume is maybe indicative of not being all that straight. Back at home, her and her parents have an incredibly white dinner. I don't see a speck of seasoning, nothing. But they say grace. The father, not at all subtly, suggests throughout the prayer that they should also be praying for her devious sexuality.
Please help us to obey the roles in life you set for us, for all that is natural.
But the next day, when Megan's boyfriend drives her back to her house after school, he's driving comedically slow. And when they get there, she realizes they are having an intervention, a gay intervention, led by none other than RuPaul. His name is Mike in this movie. He's wearing a straight is great shirt and they are taking Megan to a conversion camp called True Directions to address her dreaded lesbianism. Now, this confuses Megan because she wasn't fully aware of her own attraction to women. And so she's like, what are you talking about? And they're like, you're a vegetarian. The thing that probably didn't age the best was more so like the cultural references. And for some reason thinking that there's a vegetarian to lesbianism pipeline. You're a vegetarian. You eat tofu. You have nothing but pictures of swimsuit models in your locker. And you listen to Melissa Etheridge, who I don't know. And I don't get that reference. I assume the lesbians loved her in the 90s. You don't like kissing your boyfriend. Use a gay, love. And though she continues to deny it, they say it's fine. Admitting you have a problem is one of the first steps, and we'll discuss that at camp. So she's taken to the camp against her will. And this is where she meets the camp's manager, a woman named Mary. I don't know if that's supposed to be a joke, but and she's the founder of True Direction. Seemingly she made it to address her son's suspected homosexuality. His name is Rock. And he is one of the people that she's quote unquote saved with her teachings. The set is so good. Like a dollhouse. Color coded to signify what gender you're supposed to be. Pink for the girls, blue for the, I was gonna say for the gays, for the guys. And these colors are obviously meant to depict a very particular gender role, but I think it's such a great set design to make it a dollhouse, as if they're playing these roles. There's also something very like 1950s style about the camp, which I find also very like smart. It's a good movie. Like, it's not just funny and fun to watch. It's just like, wow, I love that. I love that idea. Okay. Once Megan gets inside, they put on a video that basically demonizes lesbianism, like it'll lead to a life of crime and self-hatred. They report about a case of a woman who was saved from lesbianism and is able to be fully actualized once she finally reached her pinnacle by marrying a man. Because of course, her attraction to women just disappeared because she married a man, but okay. But Megan sees this video and cries in a way that's kind of hard to read. Maybe she has a lot of complex emotions, I would imagine so. It seems like a situation in which you would. Perhaps she's longing to be straight, longing to be saved, quote unquote, from lesbianism, longing to be married in a very traditional sense. But after the introduction, it is time to begin the program. So the program takes place in a series of 5 steps to quote unquote normality. It's giving very like 12-step program to heterosexuality. And the first step, as if you're in AA, is to admit you're a homosexual. Mary asks if Megan suffers from any unnatural thoughts, quote unquote, when she thinks of women. And Megan's like, I don't think it's unnatural. She's like, aha, that's how I know you won't be able to fight off temptation, because you don't think it's a problem. Mary sends Megan off with one of the girls that have already admitted to their homosexuality. I forget what her name is. It's not important. Hillary. She's kind of like the goody two-shoes of the group. And she shows her, you know, the rules of the house, and then shows her the room that they all will share together, which is just this disgustingly pink room. Again, obviously it's supposed to be all together too much, like everything must be pink. You are a woman after all. And again, it doesn't sound like the best idea to put a bunch of sexually repressed teenage girls who are interested in other girls in a room together in this like traumatizing experience and expect them to not find comfort within each other. That may also lead to something I just feel like if that even was your goal, this is a bad idea. Yeah, put all of the horny, repressed teenagers that like other girls in a room with a bunch of girls that like other girls. One of the girls that we meet in the room is GLAM. GLAM is the rebel of the group. I really like her hair. And she's obviously not at all interested in being there, but was sent there by force by her parents like everybody else. It's pretty obvious this is going to be the love interest, you know, good girl, bad girl. In many ways, still playing into similar like romantic tropes, like good girl meets bad girl and fall in love versus, you know, good girl meets bad guy. Megan is soon introduced to the rest of the people at the camp, boys and girls, and they each introduce themselves in a very AA style. Hello, my name is so-and-so and I'm a homosexual. There was one person on the boy side whose voice is so familiar to me and I can't place it.
Dolph, homosexual varsity wrestler. How you doing?
Did he voice something on the Proud Family? Because he sounds like somebody that voiced something on the Proud. He's been in a cartoon. I don't know what cartoon it is, and I don't want to look it up because that ruins the fun of like thinking too hard about it. But you guys are gonna tell me in the comments, whatever. But Megan is very much like, look, I understand you guys are all homosexuals or whatever, but I shouldn't even be here. I have a boyfriend. I like guys. I'm not a lesbian. I get good grades. I go to church. I'm a cheerleader. I don't know what the fuck that has to do with lesbianism, but okay, cool. She thought, oh, I just see a pretty woman. And it's just like, everyone has the thoughts that I'm having about pretty women. And they're like, no.
I'm a homosexual. I'm a homosexual. Congratulations, Megan.
The realization scene is so funny to me. Drooling. It's funny. I'm sorry. It's just a hilariously over the top scene.
They were right. I'm a homo.
She is past step 1. During her first night at the camp, she hears one of the girls zapping herself. Come to find out, that is like a form of aversion therapy that she's using to not think about women. But ironically, it turns into a masturbatory aid with Graham's sock, which I didn't pick up on in the first view round. So I'm happy I saw it a second time because I did not catch that the first time. Now it's time for step 2. The lesbians are sent to vacuum the home. Because, yeah, that would make me want to be more of a traditional woman. And the boys do car repairs, both being oddly erotic activities. I just noticed the wrench. Dog. The girls try on wedding dresses. The boys chop wood, grab their crotches, and spit on the ground. Later, they do group therapy in which they discuss where the root of their homosexuality lies.
All-girl boarding school.
Locker room showers with the varsity team.
I like balls.
Why, thank you for that, Jen.
My mother got married in pants.
My mom let me play in her pumps.
I was born in France.
Traumatic bris. So, yeah.
Step 3 is family group therapy, which sounds terrible. Oh my God. Can you imagine family therapy with like 9 other people and their families? Like, that sounds terrible. And then on top of that, a traumatic ass experience like conversion therapy. Oh my God. Here's where we meet Graham's parents, who are these kind of rich, stuck up people who barely participate in the experience. They leave early, particularly because of her father. And he basically says, you come out of this straight or we're gonna like cut you off financially. You'll get nothing from us, which that guy, obviously. Megan ends up considering what her route is and lands on it possibly being when her dad got laid off for about 9 months and her mom had to pick up the slack for the family. Mary decides to roll with this, thinking that the reason why Megan is gay is because she doesn't respect her father and doesn't respect men because he was emasculated by having her mom pick up the slack. Megan's like, no. That's not, no. Hush, we found your root. Later that day, one of the boys ends up getting a flyer that is encouraging them to be proudly gay and to meet up this Saturday. Meanwhile, Megan and Graham get a little closer. Megan is trying her best at this camp or whatever. She's making a cheer about how God is straight or whatever. And Graham is like, this place is stupid. You are who you are. It is what it is. You're not any different. The only thing is you learn how to hide it better. And I'm here because I got caught with a girl. And of course, again, being that Megan is trying to do this like will yourself straight thing, trying really hard to ignore the fact that she's actually very attracted to Graham. She watches her, she has dreams about kissing her, and so she tries to pray it away while masturbating, which is, you know, a combo. But when she's in another room trying to run away from gay thoughts, she ends up accidentally discovering 2 of the boys together. She starts yelling, she rats them out, and they get caught. They decide to kick out the one that I'm pretty sure did a voiceover in Proud Family. The non-white one. I don't know what he is. Is he like Filipino? I don't want to call him Filipino through the whole movie only to realize he's not Filipino. The brown one. The brown one gets kicked out. Now, at first I was annoyed, but then I thought about it. It's a conversion camp. Congrats, get out. Step 4 is demystifying the opposite sex, which is a particularly hilarious step because it's the saying as if like the reason these kids are gay is because they just don't know enough about the opposite sex to be straight. Like what? And during the kind of slideshow of learning what a man is, Graham sneaks a touch with Megan and it's obvious that they're probably getting a little too close. In comes that Saturday, and a bunch of the kids decide to sneak out. Megan hoes and hums about whether or not she's gonna come, but she ends up joining everybody on the outing. They are driven by two ex gays. Two people who used to be at the True Directions camp who decided that this isn't a thing. They're going to live as openly gay men. By proxy, they've kind of presented themselves as people that they can go to if they would like to think of another way of living other than trying to convert to heterosexuality. They take them to a gay club, which Megan is very uncomfortable with at first and turns down an offer of a girl that wants to dance with her. But Graham encourages her to go dance. And Graham ends up dancing with the girl that was masturbating to her sock. So she's obviously into Graham, I guess. My only issue with this scene is that this is not a slow dancing song. They're like slow dancing to mid-tempo house. Baby, you're making me want you. But Megan ends up getting jealous when she sees Graham and the other girl touching. They have this tension-filled fight where she's like, I'm not supposed to care about what you do. And then they like kiss. And then she's like, I'm not supposed to want you. I'm not supposed to have feelings for you, but I do. And I want to kiss you again. But the other girl that's into Graham ends up seeing them. Luckily, they're able to sneak back into the house before Mary comes. The next day, Mary ends up finding a pack of mints from the gay club, the Cocksucker. They want to know why they were under Graham's bed. And she's like, I didn't sneak out and I don't know who snuck out. As a way to distract, she ends up saying like, but I realize I have a crush.
On Joel. It was the first time I really felt something for a guy, you know? And it really proved to me that treatment's working.
Which is an obvious lie and distraction and a way to get her in Mary's good graces so that she won't keep asking her if she went out. But in general, Mary is disappointed that somebody, if not somebodies, have gone to the Cocksucker. I'm sorry. Schedules an appointment with each of their parents. Megan's parents tell her that if she doesn't make it out of this camp as a straight woman, then she can't come back home. And so Megan lies and says that they have nothing to worry about. She didn't go out to the Cocksucker. I'm sorry, to the club. What a name. And there was like a giant chicken outside, if I remember correctly. They have another test in which they have to play at being straight at like a dinner party, which hilarious. That's a funny ass scene.
You're really manly.
Thanks.
I like that. Manly is good.
I feel like the aggressor.
This all culminates into step 5, in which they reinstate all the tests from earlier and a final exam, which is simulated sexual intercourse. After all the tests, but not the final exam, the only one to not pass is Andre.
You should be proud of who you are. Hello?
Who curiously speaks in a black accent.
Liars. You know who you are and you know who you want. Ain't nobody gonna change that shit.
And seemingly running out of time, Megan and Graham leave the room and end up having one night together as the most beautiful song plays. They play it at a different time in the movie and it doesn't fit as well. But the problem is the girl that likes Graham saw them leave and ends up ratting them out to Mary the next morning. And Mary ends up kicking Megan out of the program unless she's willing to do the simulation scene with Mary's son, Rock, the very straight guy. And Megan refuses, mostly because she's like, I don't think he wants to do it with me. Graham is offered the opportunity, if you want to call it that, to simulate sex with Rock. And she decides to take the opportunity, betraying Megan, because like what other choice does she really have? Now completely on her own, she decides to go over to the ex-gay's house for refuge of sorts. And then she finds out that the brown boy that got kicked out earlier is there as well. And that he's so happy to have been kicked out of True Direction because now he's able to live here safely until he's able to get up on his feet and live for himself. Meanwhile, Graham and Rock do the most awkward simulation of sex I've ever seen and it's as uncomfortable as you'd imagine because what is this? There's a point where someone's like, what about foreplay? And she's like, no, it can't be satisfying. Finally, it's the day of graduation and everyone has been deemed cured of their homosexuality. But Megan and the runaway boy decide that they're gonna go to the graduation and steal away the loves of their lives from the graduation and smuggle them out, and they'll all live together at the XX gay's house, I guess. Megan comes to the graduation dressed as a cheerleader to give a cheer to Graham to convince her to leave with her, which was funny because I was like, I forgot that cheerleading had anything to do with this movie. They don't mention it much, but she's like, yeah, I love you. Come back with me. And Mary tries to run her out of the graduation and she has to run away. And then Graham goes after her and they get on the truck to drive back. And that's the end of the movie. So good. It's so funny. I think it's a really good movie. I think for the most part, it aged really, really well. It's satirical, but not in a way that I feel like makes gay people the butt of the joke for the purpose of making straight people laugh. But yeah, it's a cute movie. I see why so many people wanted me to watch it. It's done in a way that more recent movies that I've seen hasn't been able to. So if you haven't seen the movie, check it out. You might like it. I think it's very cute. And if you like this video, feel free to like this video. Follow me on all my social media, Instagram and Twitter, both of which are KennieJD. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.